Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Once Upon a Time, episode 403, Rocky Road. This episode aired on October 12th, 2014. It was written by David H. Goodman and Jerome Schwartz and was directed by Morgan Beggs. And you are going to love this. This is the 69th episode of Once Upon a Time. You told me to remind you. I found it.
I love this.
Given what we're going to be talking about later, that's hilarious, quite frankly.
This is amazing. This is now my favorite day.
So before we get talking about the 69th episode of Once Upon a Time, here is a synopsis for Rocky Road. I hate you.
I'm 31 years old.
It's fine. Everything's fine. In Arendelle, Anna's disappearance to the Enchanted Forest is now the least of Elsa's worries. When scouts report that Hans and his brothers have been spotted nearby, Kristoff follows them to see what they're after. He and Elsa travel to a cave in the mountains to intercept a magical urn that could trap Elsa before Hans is able to get his hands on it. But when he opens it to capture Elsa, the woman trapped inside is let out, punishing the men who sought to harm Elsa. This woman reveals herself to be Elsa's aunt Ingrid, and now Elsa doesn't need to feel as alone with her power as she had before. And in Storybrooke, after hearing of Marion's rampage against those with magic, Ingrid casts a freezing curse on her so that Elsa can see what the townspeople truly think of her. Our heroes split up to find out who cast the curse on Marion, almost killing Hook in the process. Robin tries to awaken Marion with True Love's kiss, but it doesn't work, and he believes it to be because of his love for Regina. She's able to remove Marion's heart before the curse reached it, and keep Marion alive. Meanwhile, it seems the Snow Queen has something up her sleeve. She claims that Elsa's memories of her were taken by the rock trolls, but she clearly knows Emma, even though Emma has no memory of her. And for what she has planned, she needs to keep it that way. I'm sure you have this line written down, but quite frankly, this is my favorite line of the entire episode and possibly the entire season, but we'll see.
Okay.
What is that thing? It's a device for talking. I don't bloody know. I press the Emma button and she answers usually.
I did press the Emma button.
Again, I didn't change our burger because I've been very lazy with it, but it was the Rocky Road burger comes with an Emma button.
The Emma button is just so funny.
Because it's such a very him thing to call a phone, because it's speed dial. We all know it's speed dial.
Yeah.
Well, at least those who know what speed dial is.
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
Not really. Speed dial is not a thing you get with smartphones and phones of this generation, but our phones, for your history lesson, friends, when you had a keypad, you could hold down one number and it would just call a number you programmed into it. So I could hold down one and it would call my house.
And it was a big deal for your friends on who was each other's speed dials.
Yeah.
I know that because I had to sneak a phone.
It was like who was in your top 5 on MySpace.
Oh my God, that was such a big deal. The drama over the top 5.
Friendships were destroyed over that top 5.
And then it got really weird with Facebook too, though, because friendships have ended because of Facebook drama. And I've just always been the one that's like, okay, cool. You guys have fun. It's the internet. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
I first started off, I was like, look, I agree with the whole like Snow Queen's like ice cream makes everything better. Like, of course it does. But I don't think I want her extra topping.
Are we still on the fact that she stuck her finger in the ice cream in the last episode?
No, well, this time it was the spell. But I'm still stuck on that. But I don't want the extra topping, the additive that she's added to this ice cream. She can keep that.
Yeah, the frozen heart curse can we can keep that off our ice cream preferably.
Just maybe. And her fingers out of it, but we're all good.
My brain went to a whole other place.
I know, you're welcome. Now it's not me.
No, it's not.
I didn't do it this time.
You know how I feel about Elizabeth Mitchell.
Uh-huh. I'm fucking pissed.
And why is that?
Because Gold got her to use the dagger.
Well, he got her to use the dagger, but she thinks she did it correctly.
She thinks she did.
Yeah.
Like Gold is my least favorite ever.
Yeah.
Let's not have a marriage built on lies, please. It's already a weird marriage as it is, but let's build it on lies.
Because that's who he is. He's a coward who genuinely can't let himself be happy.
Honestly. I went, LOL. Did she add the bird portrait to make it the office more hers? And then 2 lines later, I'm like, I knew it about the birds.
I thought I'd put my own personal touch on The Office. Well, you succeeded, hideously.
Yeah. Regina deserves a happy ending.
Yeah, she does. With her ponytail.
With her ponytail? I was like, oh my God, I've never seen her like this.
It's the only time we're ever going to see her like this, unfortunately. Because even after this, she lets her hair grow out for a couple of seasons. You'd think she put her hair back more. This is, I think, the only time she does it.
As someone with long hair, yes, all the time. I can't stand for it to be down all the time. It has to go up. Like when you have hair, just get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I had lots of interesting moments with this. I'm like, okay, the kiss didn't work. This is getting interesting. And then I'm like, oh, what is Hook doing? Like, it's just all over the place. It's like they're trying to tell so many different stories all at once.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's Once Upon a Time. But then I just had the moment because I remember why I said that one. Well, I was like, Hans looks familiar. And then I wrote, who the fuck is this? And now I'm trying to remember who that was. Hans, maybe? I don't know.
One of his brothers?
Well, maybe it was his brothers. Probably his brothers.
They're inconsequential. They don't even get names.
Honestly. But Hans does look familiar. I'm sure you'll tell me who he is.
He's not that important, so I didn't look him up, honestly, but I can right now. Who is he?
He looks so fucking familiar. And if it's who I think it is, which I'll find out in a moment, I'm sure.
He's genuinely not that important. I think he shows up one other time this season, and that's it, which is, I did not bother with his IMDb at all.
No, I understand that. I do that all the time, but I'm also sitting here just like, he looks so familiar. And like I said, if it's who I think it is, if it's not all white men look alike, if it is,
that's entirely plausible.
Exactly. Like there's like, I love when I see the pictures of like men, especially men who act, and they'll put all their pictures next to each other. I'm like, who is this? And they all look fucking identical. It's like the who is it that they do it with? Fuck. Because you have like Demi Moore and who looks like Demi? Honestly, Demi Moore and what's her name?
I don't know who you're talking about.
I know. You don't know who Demi Moore is?
I know who Demi Moore is. I don't know who you're talking about.
I know. I'm trying to remember the name.
Well, I have the actor who plays Hans.
Okay, who is the actor that plays Hans?
His name is Tyler Jacob Moore.
That sounds familiar.
He was on Shameless.
That's how I know him. Okay. I know who it is now. He's Hans? Oh my God. Sorry. I've watched all of Shameless multiple times.
I know you have.
It's one of those shows you can't watch unless you're fully prepared to watch something that's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a watch of Once Upon a Time if I don't write what the fuck is happening. Because
accurate.
There's always things like the urn was a choice.
Yeah, it's an urn, and they're acting very like suspicious and very like wary of the urn, and it's at one point I just wrote down, dude, it's a picture of an urn.
Yeah,
like that's all it is. It's an urn.
It's an urn. And then I had my moment where I realized I am no better than a man.
Is that the time that you texted me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so for context, Katie sent me a picture, a gif of someone just looking longingly. And all the context I got was my face right now while watching Once Upon a Time. And I would like to read my response and yours word for word, if I may.
Oh, no.
Mainly because we are being as respectful as we can, but it's really not that respectful.
With all respect, I promise. I have not tried to be horrible.
To be fair, we're being as respectful as we can. Again, in our own space. We never say this to the person. We never say this to her at all because she's a human being. But you sent me that with me while watching this episode of Once. My response: are we admiring the beauty of Ingrid's extremely low cut dress or something else? And then your response: 100% titties.
You want to laugh more?
So,
guess what I actually wrote in my notes?
What did you write in your notes?
Oh, titties.
You know, her dresses, it's a style choice that I have no issues with.
I have no complaints.
And like, I'll admit, when this first started airing, and this was 2014, so I was 18, about to turn 19, I was far more judgmental. I was like, at her age, she should be doing this now. I'm like, do whatever you want. Like, I was
There's
a judgmental
lot of irony in that sentence.
There really is. But
Oh
I was a
shit.
very judgmental 18-year-old. But yeah, now as an adult, you know what? If you got it, flaunt it is all I can really say.
Because she was, I mean, I don't know how old she is, but she's beautiful. And I love the costume choice. And I
It's
think they did a
fantastic.
wonderful job. And I promise I'm looking you in the eye. But love it. Can't wait to see more of it.
But wait, to be fair, we're basically seeing just that dress, just a lot.
I'm okay. Sign me up.
Is really all I got because she pretty much wears it. So she's currently 54. So at the time she was 44.
Okay, but like that's within dating range right now for me. So I don't mind.
There will be
No regrets.
there will come a time in this season where I will like because I wrote this down when I did my stats notes. Um, but I believe my exact phrasing the first time, and I'll probably say it again, was what I wouldn't give to have Elizabeth Mitchell look at me like that, like at all, but
Mm-hmm.
specifically like that. Like there's a moment she looks at somebody, I'm like, I want that.
Oh, just a
Like
look. I love that.
from that person.
Well, like, and it's not just how she looks. I'm gonna say that now. Like, I am one of those people, attraction is not usually just based in
Hmm.
looks. The character herself, like the Snow Queen, I didn't know exactly what you meant when you were like, oh, she's very soft spoken. Actually hearing it and
Yeah.
experiencing it, surround sound, I might add.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The nice headphones help.
oh my God.
Yeah, she's one of those
She's
people.
so soft spoken.
The character is ridiculously soft spoken, and she's so intentional with the way she talks. And this is like also just like Elizabeth's voice in general. Like she's like that. Because I say this all the time. There's certain actors, and a lot of them are ones from Once Upon a Time, but just actors in general, that their voices. The best way I can phrase it is just like they just scratch an itch in my brain. I would listen to anything they say, however they're going to say it. They could read it from the phone book. I don't care. I can't quantify what a voice needs for that to
Hmm.
be a thing for me, but I can always tell you that I know it when I hear it, and I know when I don't hear it and I expect to, based off of like what I know about a person. Her voice doesn't matter what tone she's using, what register. She could just read from the dictionary, the phone book.
Yeah.
I don't care. I will sit because her voice is it's so smooth, it's so melodic. I've tried to analyze it for like trying to imitate it for other things, but like it's just it's I love listening to her talk, which is a sound I think sounds kind of creepy, but like I just like listening to her voice.
I will say though, as people who are very active in the book community, we're used to listening to voices. We're also
Yeah.
podcasters. Between the podcasting aspect and the, of course, reading aspect, we both also do a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah.
When it comes to audio quality, the way someone speaks, how well they are with certain things, we notice those things
Yeah.
very, very much. And with this, with the mixture it is with her character, it makes her so much fucking like so much more scarier.
Yes.
And I know I keep comparing things to Peter Pan. It's just because they did it so horribly. Um, and they didn't really build on the villain side of him. They
Mhm.
still kind of went with the trickster side. And I'm like, you can't paint him as this evil, evil villain and not give me evil, evil villain. You gave me teenage boy that needs a fucking beat down. Um,
Yeah.
and but with this, you've got this beautiful woman that you're just like enamored with because you can't help it. She's gorgeous.
Mhm.
And then she starts speaking. You're like, oh, she's soft spoken. Usually soft spoken people are not scary. And
Mhm.
then she starts actually like you actually listen to what she's saying and you're like, oh, you're scary. I like you.
Yeah. Well, like as I wrote down one of her lines as she's like dangling the icicles over Killian, like she's talking to Elsa and she goes, "Then they'll treat you as the monster they truly see you are, and you'll know that I'm right." Like she's saying it
Yeah.
so matter of factly,
The
which is why
confidence.
like like I say, it's confidence, it's security, which is why she can be so soft spoken and why I find her to be truly menacing and I fucking love her.
It's so fucking good. Like this is a villain. Because like if I think when I think Snow Queen, the first Snow Queen that comes to mind is Narnia.
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah.
what comes to mind. And so I didn't know which way that, Once was going to go with this. I had no idea. I'm like, all right, what am I
Yeah.
fully expecting? Because you've got Elsa and the Snow Queen going on at the same time. I was kind of taken back. I was like, really? We got to keep doing the family thing? She's her aunt? Like,
But to be fair, this is a wreath unto itself. No one's related to our main cast.
I know, but it's like we're creating another family tree.
We are, but this one is so self-contained. It don't let it bother
Okay.
you because like this one's not
That's
gonna
fair.
other than like Ingrid clearly knows Emma. However,
Clearly.
clearly, so there's a connection there which is yet to be revealed. But so just don't let the family thing bother you too much. Mainly because this
Okay.
is they're retelling, they're doing the Frozen thing, but they're also retelling Hans Christian Andersen's Snow Queen story. we're going to see many more elements
Oh,
of that.
okay.
So Ingrid is that Snow Queen.
Thank you, because I did not know much about that one.
Yeah, that one
My experience with that is low.
I read that one in college, I want to say.
Okay.
So they're going to bring in a lot more elements. They're going to bring in elements that we don't usually see in other fairy tales, or the fairy tale retellings, I should say, of the Snow Queen.
Okay.
So it's this one. This is one where I can say that they use the very clearly Disney one, but it's a more holistic, rounded retelling of a fairy tale in a self-contained arc. Which is why, like I said,
That's impressive.
as I watch this season more, again, removed from that one thing of they did this for views, I love it.
And as someone so far removed from it, from that time period, because
Mhm.
it's 2025 and this was 2000, oh shit, what year? 2000.
2014.
Thank you, 2014. Yeah, no, I was so busy in 2014. I couldn't have seen
Yeah.
myself ever watching this. If it was already in season 4 by then too, I would have never picked this up. And now I'm, over a decade later being like, all
Yeah.
right, this is fucking great. I love this.
It's just such good storytelling.
They did such an amazing job. But I did like the Hey Dairy Queen. That was fucking funny.
Good line.
But then the last thing I wrote was like, I knew Robin still loved her. We knew this. They're soulmates.
Yes.
Kind of weird to have a romantic moment over your wife's frozen body.
Yeah, that's one thing I as we're just telling, like, giving, like, the writers, like, props, like, this well-crafted arc. There are multiple
Yes.
times where they're gonna have, like, declarations of love in probably not the best place.
That was a really bad place to, like, at least go out in the hallway,
Right? We don't see
Maybe
that
don't.
hallway set very often, and we later learn. I at least I later learned the hallway, because like the reception area for the mayor's office is a set. They built it. There's a hallway there, but most often that's where like the actor chairs are. It's
That's
like
funny.
they built a set basically to use it for a place for like a space heater and the chairs.
I love that though. It's actually really funny. But yeah, that's all my random chaos notes, which can pretty much be boiled down to Snow tried, Hook is funny, there's an Emma button,
Yep,
and the
the Emma
Snow Queen
button.
has all of my love.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe this episode. Honestly.
Yeah.
I have a couple of fun facts, and then also there's an actor that you did not mention who, unfortunately, we'll talk about. Not unfortunately, it's we'll
Oh,
talk about
okay.
why he keeps coming back, because it was just not executed the way they wanted it to. But first of all,
Okay.
so it's funny that you say that. Maybe Robin and Regina shouldn't have had that conversation over Marianne's unconscious body. During shooting, Christy Lang, who plays Marianne, apparently had food poisoning for the entire day of filming, so she was
Oh,
happy to be lying down unconscious as the frozen statue the entire time.
I'm sure they just, keep a bucket near.
Yeah,
She got this.
she'll be fine. I don't know if you picked up on this, but when we see the Snow Queen, mostly in like the foresty scenes, I only caught it
Mhm.
towards the very end. She's barefoot underneath
Really?
her dress. So something I learned from other interviews, very often, if you can't see the actors' feet under like those giant dresses, a lot of times they're either wearing like galoshes or Uggs or something, because quite frankly, it's more comfortable and
Mhm.
easier to walk in around the forest than just like these like giant, than like those like very nice sparkly heels. But apparently the choice for the Snow Queen to be barefoot was Elizabeth Mitchell's decision, because she describes herself as a gazelle in galoshes, and otherwise she would have been tripping over everything. So
I
rather
align with this
than
woman so much.
she's just, I love her so much, which is fun. It's funny because the woman who plays Cruella, for the opposite reason, she was only ever in her giant sparkly pumps, because her response to that is, I can't walk like my character if I don't have the shoes on. I will just, it'll be Cruella like tromping around like a dock worker if I'm wearing like boots or
That'd be
anything. So I have
hilarious.
to. She's like, so even in like the forest, I still have to wear the sparkly pumps, because at least then I'll still walk like the character, which I find that hilarious.
But also commitment.
A lot of commitment. There's so I cannot wait for the plethora of stories I have about that woman, or just that arc in general, but her specifically, because hers just stick in my mind. For the next half of the season, it's gonna be fun.
So this is what I've been waiting for. This is why I survived Peter Pan to make it here.
Yes, you did. You survived Peter Pan, and you were rewarded with Zelina, Ingrid, and Cruella.
It's amazing.
It's a great group.
It's amazing.
So the operation name for Regina's happy ending, Operation Mongoose, which now makes our finale title make sense.
Yes.
References obviously the real life animal, the mongoose. It's funny that, and this is obviously intentional, but the reason being in the natural realm, why mongoose makes sense is because real mongoose tend to feed on cobras in the wild,
Yep.
referencing Operation Cobra. So this is Regina getting a one up on Emma with
I fully support this.
with this. The miniature ice castle that we saw in the Emma Button scene is real. That is an actual miniature ice castle, or at least castle made out of something that the props department made. It is not CGI.
That's really cool.
So props to the props department. They got to make a tiny castle. I think that's fantastic.
Nice.
On the urn, when Elsa picks it up, we can see two runes that are somewhat visible. One of them meant, according to the wiki, I don't know how accurate this is. One of the ones that could be read meant either water or lake, and the other meant ice.
Okay. See, runes can mean those things.
Yes,
The different runes have different things they match up with, but
just can't spell
they
with
don't
them.
spell with Futhark runes.
No. Elizabeth Mitchell, when she, so I didn't bring in so much of her like actual like audition or how she got into the role last time because I think we had enough to talk about last week. But she got this was an offer only role. She didn't audition for it. But when she got the call, I think she said she was on like a road trip with her son, and her first instinct was, I think I'm too old to play any of those characters because they didn't tell her exactly who she was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then they told her that she was going to be their aunt, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I think I can do that." Apparently there was like a fan like campaign to get her to play like the Ice Queen. I don't remember that. I also don't doubt it, but she's done a lot of work. So obviously she was on Lost, so she'd worked with them beforehand, and she knew what kind of stories they'd bring to life, and she was very excited to be part of the Frozen arc.
The more we watch this, the more I'm like, am I really going to watch Lost just to get any bit of
Honestly,
information?
I don't even watch the actual episodes or clips. I watch compilations. I watch the blooper reels because it's more fun that way. Because there's one that's in this compilation that's quite really a compilation of her laughing. But there's one that's a blooper from Lost where it's like her and I think Evangeline Lilly. I can't entirely see, but it's her and somebody else. They like go like, "Let's go," and then she pulls them, and then they both fall down into this like very tall grass, and then all of a sudden you just hear her howling laughter as they just like both like fell flat on their faces. It's very funny. But the actor who popped up that you did not mention is Will Scarlet, the guy that they found in the campsite.
Oh, yeah, him. I forgot about him.
Yeah, so
that's who I said, who the fuck is this? It was that guy.
There you go. That's Michael Sosha.
Thank you.
So Will Scarlet was originally introduced as a main cast member in the spin-off Once Upon a Time in Wonderland that aired alongside season 3.
Oh.
So he's not only is he Will Scarlet from the Merry Men, but he was also the Knave of Hearts. So he was involved in the Wonderland stuff.
Interesting.
When Once in Wonderland was canceled, they brought him over to Once Upon a Time as a series regular. I don't fully know why, considering it's interesting. They brought him over as a series regular, and he's not even introduced on screen until episode 3. And I don't really know the reasoning why. Maybe they thought it would like kind of soften the blow with fans, whatever. But they bring him over. He's not really of consequence.
It sounds like someone had a contract that couldn't be fully fulfilled.
That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like somebody had a clause in their contract, and so they had no choice but to move him to the other show.
Yeah. So like he's involved in a couple of episodes here and there, but like he's in obviously as many as he legally needs to be as a series regular. But he's always the catalyst. He's almost always the catalyst for the B plot.
Yeah, like this sounds like a contract thing, honestly.
So it was like why are you here? So that's Michael Sosha. So you'll see him throughout the season and then never again.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it sounds like a contract.
No, it does. I completely agree with you.
It's like, hey, this is weird. Yeah, they hadn't have a choice.
I think they claimed that it was like it was like, for the fans of Once in Wonderland, like, the show may be over, but Will Scarlet will still be on the show. And I'm like, I never watched Once in Wonderland, which coming from me sounds odd because it's a Once Upon a Time thing. Why haven't I watched it? And I haven't tried watching it in a while. I might try again one day.
Okay, but how funny would it be for us just to discuss That, because I haven't watched it, obviously.
I mean, at this point, you have all the context you need because it was only around season 3, so you could watch it however much you could watch. There's no context you're missing.
Nothing I'm missing.
Cora is in one episode.
Oh, fun!
Well, she's the Queen of Hearts, so she has to be.
That could just be a fun thing if we decide to talk about it. Of like, what are our real thoughts on this while focusing on Once Upon a Time?
Yeah, because I remember I watched the first episode. I watched the premiere, and it came out my freshman year of college. So, and it was also during the week. It wasn't on Sundays. So already it was harder for me to get back to my dorm to watch it at the time that it was airing. But it didn't grab me immediately. And one issue that I felt I had with it was that they relied on the same, they did a lot of the same storytelling stuff they did from the pilot, of kind of just dropping us into the world and kind of explaining it a little bit, but not giving us a whole lot of context. And but they focused on a central romance being Snow and Charming, which is a recognizable romance. So if we get dropped in without a lot of context, it's okay.
Okay.
They kind of did that same thing of dropping us in without a whole lot of context and focusing on a central romance, but it was with mostly new characters that they invented.
Oh, it's not with like Underland characters?
It is. It's a combination. So there was some stuff. There was some Wonderland characters. I mean, it is now some Wonderland retelling, essentially. But like there's central romances between Alice and a genie named Cyrus. He's a completely new invention. There's also they added
the caterpillar's right there.
They added in Jafar and stuff like that. If they're gonna keep the caterpillar, he's too expensive. That was one of the guys from The Who was the voice of the caterpillar. I'm sure he's too expensive.
I'm sorry, I'm so Jeff. What is Jafar doing in Wonderland?
Here's the thing: is I never watched it. I can't fucking tell you.
We're gonna need to discuss this. I'm confused.
I wasn't drawn to it from the beginning, and therefore I just didn't have the time or the bandwidth to like basically commit to another show. Mm-hmm. So I never watched it, and like maybe I'd go back and like binge it and just see how it goes. But yeah, that's that. Oh fuck, the White Rabbit was voiced by John Lithgow. That was
fuck. Now I have to watch.
That was disorienting. His voice is too recognizable for me for him to do animated characters.
I love him. I think he's hilarious.
I think he's fantastic, but it was just too. There's sometimes there are some actor voices that when they do a voice acting role, their voice is just too recognizable. It pulls me out of the viewing experience.
We've titled something because of this. Is all I'm gonna say. Looking at you, Chris Pratt.
Just saying,
Scarlett Johansson. John Lithgow is actually like a treasure, though, so I'm not mad at him.
No, he's a fantastic. I love him. He's a fantastic actor. He seems like such a kind man, as far as we know. But I
need our younger audience to seek out Third Rock from the Sun, because people our age will know what Third Rock from the Sun is. But if you are younger, please go watch Third Rock from the Sun. It is one of the best shows that I think has ever been created, and John Lithgow is like the leader of a pack of aliens in the human world, and it's got a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So I mean,
yeah, that's true.
There's that. It's fucking hilarious.
I feel like leading a pack of aliens is just John Lithgow as a person.
It really is. I'm gonna have to watch that later. Be like, Steven, we're gonna do a puzzle, and we're gonna watch Third Rock from the Sun because I have not watched that in years. It's such a good show.
But yeah, so that's my rant on Once in Wonderland. That's
look, if we ever have another one, I'm just gonna that's when we have the spoons to actually watch something that we're like, do we want to watch this? Very much, I've noticed, we have stuck to very, very much to making sure we're watching things that we hopefully will enjoy.
Yeah, I would say neither of us have picked something because we think the other is gonna hate it.
No, I don't want to do that to you because then it takes the fun out of it.
It really
I get worried sometimes with the movies I want to watch, but like it's more so of you getting an insight to me as a person.
Yeah,
I think
like that was the thing with when I'm picking with What's Up Doc. I knew that I had a feeling based off of what you enjoyed in Bob's that you were going to enjoy the craziness.
It's so good.
Beaches is more a case of I referenced it enough times, you just might as well watch it. But
look, it's now been referenced in Bob's too, so I don't have a choice.
That it has. It's just that's also just a good movie. Like there's the occasional time like an episode will pop up in Once Upon a Time, but to be fair, it's an episode here and there, not the show as a whole. And I'm like, oh, Katie's gonna hate this.
Oh, there's episodes of Bob's that I'm usually like, all right, it's one episode, it's 20-something minutes of her life. She'll hate it, but then the next one's better.
Yeah.
We're good. Like, we're actually almost done with season 7. Like, what the fuck?
That's how I felt about the entire 3A arc. Once we established that you weren't happy with Pan, I was like, because at first, honestly, I was like, my concern with the Pan arc at first was like, oh god, if she likes this and I hate it, how are we going to do this? And then you immediately were like, who the fuck is this? And I was like, great, this is going to work out great. But then it was like, ooh, you are, maybe this is going to be, 11 episodes of us really not liking something. Although I think you gave 3A more 30s than I did.
I think I did. So 3A was very much like Pan was horrible.
But Tinkerbell.
But Tinkerbell, which led me to watch the entirety of a whole nother show. And now I'm on another show. Thank God Ghost is coming back.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun. I almost want to watch Lost too, just for the fact that, like you said, there's times with Lost characters, they'll make a joke or they'll do something or say something that's got something to do with Lost. And that's why I'm like, do I need to watch these other things to see if there's references? Because they do that in Ghost too, because they're constantly referencing things Rose has done, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because I get too much excitement when they'll make like a zombie joke or something that she did in iZombie, and I'm just like, I know what this is. It's too much fun.
I know. But Lost is a bit more of a commitment than iZombie, though.
Yeah. See, me and Steven did not finish. We've been trying to slowly work through like big shows where we took a pause from Walking Dead just because we're already in an apocalypse. We're going to take a step back from that right now. And I did have him watch all of Shameless, and we are watching. Oh shit! What was it? Oh, we tried Breaking Bad years ago, and we literally stopped watching after the first episode of the last season because we were so bored. Which is like one of the big, like most renowned shows ever is Breaking Bad. Everybody loves it, and we got bored.
Yeah,
like
I had to take a break. I was I'm almost done with the Orville, but I had to take a break because the last episode I watched, given our current times, hit a little too close to home.
Which one was it?
Gently Falling Rain.
Oh,
that hits a little too close to home.
That one's yeah,
a little bit.
McFarlane really went with his whole chest when it came to the Orville, and it's funny that we're still waiting to see if it's returning.
IMDb still has a season 4 on it.
They do. So I think he has the rights and whatever is needed to make the 4th season. I think they're having other issues.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, back to Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. Look, we talked about TV at least.
It's fine. Yeah, it was all on theme, kind of. One of my first notes that I highlighted though was because I was equating it to Zelena making Killian kissing Emma a curse. I'm like, what is it with our villains making what is with our villains shipping the characters before the characters do? It's like, honestly, Ingrid using the ice cream for the frozen heart curse, does that make her an outlaw queen shipper? Because with Marion and incapacitated, that leaves the door wide open.
It does.
But it does make sense her doing it. I mean, picking Marion specifically because in the pilot, Marion, I mean, she mostly went on a rampage about Regina being evil, not because she has magic, but she does yell, basically, she's a witch at some point. So I do see why that one made sense. I also wrote down, Belle thinking she has the real dagger and using it to compel Rumple to tell the truth is furthering my thing of a woman should not function as the moral compass for a man.
No human should ever be a moral compass for another human. You need your own moral compass, people. And you do that by practicing empathy. Which is lacking.
Lacking in a lot of... Lacking in people that claim that they need their beliefs to tell them what's right and wrong.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Great. But, oh God. So you and I both watch with captions.
Yes, right? I can't watch TV without captions. I don't know what the people are saying without them. They talk too much.
Yeah. But the people that did the captions were not paying attention.
No.
Because I think you know what I'm talking about. At one point when Elsa and Kristoff are talking, what he says is, and I heard it, is obey me. As in obey, I'm the queen. But the captions read was, oh baby, I'm the queen. Like,
it said, oh baby. And I was like, Kristoff didn't say that.
No,
Elsa didn't say that. What? Who said, oh baby?
Like, I go back to like context clues. If you think you heard two things, pick the other one.
I mean, that's a big mess up though.
That is.
But like, it was funny. I had a little giggle at that. I was like, that's not right.
That's definitely not the way that was meant to be done.
No.
But, you know, we put it aside. It's a blip, but it was just like, it's a moment of like, why Because I love Elsa and Kristoff's relationship in this arc, but in this episode specifically, because we see so much of, because it's stuff that like comes up in Frozen 2 also, with like Elsa and Kristoff kind
Yeah.
of getting a little closer as well.
Well, in this, they're already engaged.
Yes, this is true. Yeah, the engagement has already happened, so she's aware that he's going to be her brother-in-law, and like her
Yeah.
line. My sister wants a wedding. It's probably best the groom is alive.
Look, we missed out on a Kristoff ballad. That's all I'm saying.
We did, but
That's what does that.
Yeah, it's fine. But I love their relationship, just in this in general, because it is a very sibling dynamic
Yeah.
that we see with the two of them. And I think it helps. I would say in a live action format with actors that are of roughly the same age. I think it helps a little bit better, considering that, like, I mean, we don't really get a sense of how old he's supposed to be. I guess he's supposed to be about Anna's age in the movie, because he's about the same size or so in the initial flashback at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But still, so I don't know. I think it works better in this format, my personal thing. But with Regina, with Henry in Granny's, with the comic books, like, it felt a little bit like that was a bit of their relationship that they had before he started to pull away, before he found out
Yeah.
he was adopted. And it was like nice to kind of get like, and I wrote down, it would have been nice to get some confirmation about that, writers.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Like, yes, she's using it as a backdoor to get to talk to Henry about the author and everything, and she's not all that subtle about it, but like, I appreciate that Henry knows his mother well enough. He's like he sees right through it and is like, this is fantastic. Why didn't we think of this sooner?
And I like that it's, instead of her trying to do it in an evil way, I know she tried to like convince her son, but he called her out, so it's fine. But like, she's actually just trying to figure out, like, she just wants a happy ending, and I'm not mad about what she's trying to do. And really excited to see where that goes. Like, I'm more interested. I'm enjoying the Snow Queen plot. I'm enjoying while we're looking for Anna. It's a really great story, but I'm really more excited to see what happens with this whole, who's the author of this book thing? How do we write our happy endings? That is far more interesting than anything else going on. I'm still loving what's going on. I need to know where this is going. That's the kind of world building and the storytelling that I really love, of like, how do I change my own story?
Yeah. And that's why I think this season works better than season 3 did, because you have that overarching storyline that goes throughout the entire season. Who the author is and what happens there is not contained in this one half of the season, versus season 3 was two sides of the same story, but basically just the same thing over and over again. I would say it was very much very
disjointed.
Similar. It's very disjointed. Like, it's because everything other, with the exception of the memory potion and giving a reason for why Snow was all of a sudden very pregnant, you don't entirely need season 3A to happen in order for 3B to work.
Yeah.
And this arc, this season specifically has, I mean, it has that overarching thing of they're going to take time to figure out who the author is and how to get to him and how to ask him to rewrite Regina's story. But there's a lot of stuff relevant in 4B that can't happen without 4A going the way that it does.
Okay.
So it's everything feels a little bit more connected, is the best way that I can, at least with this arc this season, that I can say.
Okay. Because we've talked before, but not really on here, but mainly on Bob's. We talk about how storytelling can be a little disjointed depending on how they do it. And I was waiting until we had a moment like that.
Yeah.
With Once Upon a Time, only for you to point out, no, that we've already had that. And I was just so mad about Peter Pan that I didn't realize it. Like, I've been just angry and bitter.
It's different when you're talking about the A and B plot of a 20-minute episode versus the A half and B half of a 22 episode season.
Yeah.
It's different. But, oh, brain, where was I going with this? I had a thought. Where'd it go?
It flew away.
I had a thought. Where did it go? Baby, come back. But with Regina in this episode specifically, I will say we see a lot more of the family dynamics that she has with all of our. Oh, here's the thought I was going to say.
There it is.
Wait, did I have it? Oh shit! Family dynamics. Where was I going with this? Fuck me! I had it and I lost it. Okay, I'm just gonna see the line. Maybe it'll come back eventually. So close.
It'll come back eventually.
At some point.
Watch it be the outro.
With Regina, with the family dynamics, with this, this will be fine. But with this episode specifically, we can see Regina having obviously the close relationship with Henry. We see the way she's kind of like just like jabbing at Snow with the, well, you succeeded hideously, which actually the bird painting where it is on the wall, that's where the mirror that Regina shattered in the first episode of the season was.
Oh.
I picked that up this time. I was like, oh, that's why that goes there.
Look at you still picking stuff up after all these years.
Yeah. But especially with the way she talks to Emma when, like, Emma's trying to insist that maybe, Elsa didn't do this and Regina's kind of getting angry, whatever. I like the bickering with them because it's Regina, both of them really, but Regina knowing she's in a safe space to bicker with that person. Like, it's okay to kind of be a little snippy because it's going to be okay at the end of the day.
Like, they have that relationship now that they're able to do that.
Yeah, so it's much more together, and I appreciate that. But, the 2 sheriffs thing, when David said that is kinda stupid because I was like, Emma is the actual elected sheriff. David is the sheriff because he decided he is. He should be the deputy, in my opinion.
He only did that because he's Prince Charming,
Yeah.
It's the only reason he feels like he can do that, and it was another moment of Charming's being an idiot again. I wanna ignore it. Like, how is this man so stupid?
The world may never know.
He is so obscenely stupid, but every now and again, he's got those little quips that you're like, "Alright, I can agree with Charming on this one," but usually I'm like, "Dude, go do your puzzle. Just stop. Go in the corner, play with your toy, let the people who know what they're talking about get shit done, please. Please. We'll send Killian over there. You'll have a friend."
You'll have a buddy. It's fine.
I don't know how much he'll help you in a puzzle, but it's something.
He only has one hand.
I mean, you can do a puzzle one-handed.
I suppose. I think the thought came back. I think.
There it is.
It has to. So with the whole season, the way that it works. So I was okay. My brain is putting the pieces back together slowly but surely. If I cut out the previous attempts, this is like the 4th time I said I had a thought and it went away. But this season specifically, versus the other ones with the flashbacks, the way they kind of serve to kind of give us that character context, but they're telling kind of their own story. I feel like with this season specifically, the focus is more so on the Storybrooke and the present timeline. I think this is a better way of doing it than the constant back and forth that it kind of even split. Because like I said in the first episode of the season that it felt just, I guess, unbalanced. It was more Storybrooke than Enchanted Forest, just time, or I guess Arendelle time-wise. And that continues to be how I feel. But I think it works out because truthfully, the flashbacks are serving to just all they're doing is giving us context for how everyone got here. And like I said, with the Frozen arc, this one is telling its own story. We're seeing this one for the most part chronologically, with the exception of episode 7.
Okay.
So like it's telling its own story, but it doesn't need to be half of every episode because there's so much going on. And I think that allows the character arcs over the entire season to just form better and be more connected.
Okay.
Got there.
It took a few tries, but you did it, and I'm very proud of you.
Took 4 tries.
You did it.
But then I wrote down the urn is kind of a stupid plot device, and I stand by this because I was like, is it the whole point of like, is it required to be closed for a certain amount of time? Because like let's say Hans did capture Elsa, couldn't Kristoff just fight for it back and open it again? It's all very unclear.
It feels like another Pandora's box situation.
It's basically another magical traveling case.
It really is. And as soon as they're like, we gotta get this urn, this magical urn that does this thing, and I'm just kind of sitting here like, that's what we're going with? That's the plot device. Okay. It really did just feel like Pandora's box all over again. It really did. I was
absolutely did.
Are you gonna what's the next vessel? First we had a box, which was supposed to be a jar, actually.
Yeah.
Now we've got an urn.
What's
the next vessel?
I think we just keep using Pandora's box.
Oh, okay. At least we keep it classic.
We just keep using that one because we will continue to see that. But I understand with Henry saying he took a while to get a box out of Regina's vault. I get that they needed a reason for it to take so long, but like I was like, dude, there's a wall of heart boxes. It should not have taken that long.
No, it should not have.
So, and then my last funny note is Killian calls himself a survivor. I call him a cockroach.
He's a cute cockroach.
He is a cute cockroach. But I have like one more like miniature rant to go down. But before we do that, Katie, what did you rate this episode?
So I gave plot 8. It's not a bad plot. I enjoyed a lot of aspects, but like we just talked about, the urn.
Yeah.
Overdone. find a different method, please.
Yeah.
Obviously, my feelings towards Gold and using Belle and their entire relationship being based off lies still makes me angry. They
Mm-hmm.
really took my favorite childhood story and, created this.
Sorry.
But character and personal, I gave both 9.
Okay.
So this is a 26. So the plot just really did, like, the certain things within the plot just really
Mm-hmm.
annoyed me.
Okay.
But apart from that, solid episode. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, we have Killian with the best fucking lines ever. I can't complain too much.
I have enough fondness for icebergs, and I'd rather avoid being turned into one.
Yes. Like, I really did love it. I just need them to,
Mm-hmm.
use a different plot device.
That's fair. I gave plot and character both 9s because,
Okay.
again, like I said, I have similar reasons. It's very solid, very much enjoyable, and I took off points basically for the same things, just to go off less points. But I gave it an 8 for personal because I do really enjoy it. It's like I wouldn't call it a 9. I would call it it's an 8 for personal. So I also gave it a 26, just in a different configuration.
We can't be the same all the time.
No, we can't. We got too lucky last week.
Nick, lucky.
But my last thing with like Ingrid, I wrote down she's so, like we were saying before, she's so captivating to watch. It's not just the costume.
We just really love the costume, and we are sapphics, so like
again,
a beautiful woman's gonna make us stutter a little bit. We can't help it.
We're being as respectful as we can. Because again, we're human beings with brains and social skills. We would not say this to her face because we're sane people.
Skills?
Occasionally.
Okay.
In situations like this, yeah, I would say I probably would have
social I would have self-control around a pretty woman.
Yeah.
I say that as a very chaotic bisexual that still does not know how to hit on women, but I feel like I can at least show respect to women I find attractive, is what I mean by that.
Oh, yeah.
I still have no idea how to hit on a woman.
I can't help you there. Not at all. But right? With Ingrid and the whole thing in the forest towards the end, she's not lying. Everything she's saying is true, at least what she believes to be the truth based off of her experiences. Mm-hmm. And she's reacting in the world, so she's reacting the way the world has taught her to react, which is act before others fear you and come for you. She's like, it's just, and then her response, the way she says Emma's name when she sees her is so heartbreaking.
She knows who that is.
Because again, me, knowing the whole history, it makes me cry occasionally. It's not every time, but it's an occasional time with their history and what happens there. But her cover-up is, her cover-up is being like, your reputation precedes you kind of thing, was giving me the vibes of Agatha covering her tracks on the Witch's Road.
Like, I need to cover my tracks real quick. I'm just going to come up with the first thing in my mind.
Yeah, it's like...
That makes sense.
It's like, do I know you? The road will test us in the ways of the craft.
Look, she tricked us at first, too.
She did. And it's those things. It all has to do with how you view things. And I know why Ingrid... Which actually, you know what? I would say I know why Ingrid acts the way she does. I don't know if I agree with that, given what I know. But there's merit in her response, especially since I don't know if at the time of filming Elizabeth knew the whole story.
Ooh.
Because most of the time I would say they just let them get the scripts as they get them, but sometimes they do tell them little snippets. So I don't know.
Like Cora knew everything.
Well, like Lana knew that Cora was the Queen of Hearts from the first season.
I love that still love that so much.
So good. So good. But now I've had Frozen Heart stuck in my head this entire episode.
I love that for you.
Cut through the heart, cold and clear. Strike for love and strike for fear.
I haven't watched Frozen in a while. Maybe it's time.
Maybe it's time. We'll have a Frozen watch party with our patrons.
Oh! Watch party?
Maybe.
I thought our first watch party was going to be the Bob's movie, but that's still going to be a while.
Yeah, we got time for that. But hey, if people want to listen to me scream the Frozen songs, maybe after
She will do that. She will do that.
I will.
Yes, after you move. I say that lovingly.
I know, but I was like, to be fair, when this episode comes out, I will have been in the new place for 2.5 months.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're saying all this now. We're recording this in January.
I'm just saying, I always forget this is the last episode we're recording in January. I
Hey.
always forget things. So I know you're moving soon. I know when
Yeah.
it is.
Mhm.
I know the process. I vaguely know that we're not recording certain days. That's about it.
And that's all you need to know.
You need the brain cell right now. You've got more going on.
Unfortunately.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 7, Episode 19, Thelma and Louise, except Thelma is Linda, and Episode 20, Mom, Lies, and Videotapes. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link for more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.